Bullies humiliate new black girl at prom, unaware she is ruthless boxer. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout out in the next video. Hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. The gymnasium glowed with hanging lights, glittering streamers, and the nervous energy of teenagers stepping into what they thought would be the greatest night of their young lives, prom night. Music pulsed through the speakers, laughter echoed against the walls, and everywhere, cameras flashed as if the students were Hollywood royalty. But standing near the entrance, clutching her small silver clutch with fingers that had known calluses and bloodied wraps, was Aisha Johnson, the new girl in town. Her skin shimmered under the soft glow, and her braided bun was pinned neatly. She wore a dress her aunt had stitched together, not a designer gown, not something from the glossy magazines the other girls whispered about, but it fit her, hugged her athletic frame, and made her feel like she belonged. Only, she didn't. Not here. Not yet. Aisha had been at Ridgewood High for only 3 months. Long enough to sense the invisible lines that divided the privileged from the outsiders. Long enough to hear the snickers in the hallway, the whispers of, "She's different," and, "Why does she walk like she's ready to fight someone?" They didn't know. They couldn't know. Aisha was different. For years she had been raised in the harsh clatter of boxing gyms, the smell of sweat and leather, the sharp bark of her father's voice telling her to jab harder, move faster, never back down. She was ruthless in the ring, merciless. But outside of it, she wanted peace. She wanted to be normal. She wanted to be just another girl dancing under the glittering prom lights. But Ridgewood High had other plans. Look who showed up. A sharp, mocking voice sliced through the music. It was Tiffany Clark, blonde hair curled perfectly, a tiara gleaming above her smug smile. She was Ridgewood royalty, the self-proclaimed prom queen long before the votes were even tallied. Beside her stood her loyal entourage, Madison and Claire, both dressed in gowns worth more than most families' rent. Aisha felt their eyes pierce through her. "Ah, did Goodwill have a sale?" Tiffany sneered, her voice loud enough to catch the attention of nearby students. Laughter rippled across the dance floor. Aisha's jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. She had been hit harder by girls who weighed twice Tiffany's size. Still, Tiffany wasn't done. "You know, prom is kind of sacred here," Tiffany continued, circling Aisha like a predator. "It's not really for outsiders. But hey, props for showing up. You're brave, I'll give you that." Madison chimed in, "Brave or desperate?" Claire laughed, sipping from her sparkling cider glass. "Can you even dance in that thing? Or is it more of a training uniform?" The laughter was cruel, sharp, echoing in Aisha's ears. She inhaled slowly. Her father's voice whispered in her mind, "Control. Always control. Don't waste punches on fools." So she smiled faintly and walked past them. "Excuse me." But Tiffany wasn't ready to let her go. Not yet. Tonight, she needed an audience. "Wait, everybody. Look," Tiffany shouted, climbing onto the small stage where the DJ was set up. "Prom has an unexpected guest tonight." She gestured theatrically toward Aisha, who stood frozen, the spotlight suddenly burning on her. The music faded as the DJ reluctantly turned the volume down. Curious faces turned. "She thinks she belongs here," Tiffany announced, her grin wicked. "But let's give her the welcome she deserves." And with that, Tiffany snatched a cup of neon pink punch and, with the casual cruelty of someone who had never faced consequences, hurled it. The liquid splashed across Aisha's dress, staining it like blood. Gasps filled the room. Some kids laughed. Others looked away, guilty but silent. Aisha stood drenched, the sticky liquid dripping down her arms. Her aunt's handmade dress, ruined. Her vision blurred with fury. Not from tears, but from something darker, deeper. Her fists clenched, the same fists that had dropped opponents twice Tiffany's size to the mat. The room spun around her, but inside, she was in a ring again. The crowd jeering. The enemy taunting. Her body begging for release. But she couldn't. Not here. Not like this. She turned, ready to leave. To walk out with what little dignity remained. But Tiffany's voice cut again, sharp as glass. "Ah, don't leave, sweetheart. We were just starting. What's the matter? Afraid to fight back?" That word, fight, it triggered something. Aisha stopped. Slowly, she turned back, her eyes locking on Tiffany's. Cold. Focused. The way she looked at opponents right before the bell rang. The crowd sensed the shift. The laughter faded. The air grew thick. "What did you just say?" Aisha's voice was low, steady, dangerous. Tiffany smirked, emboldened by the attention. "I said, afraid to fight back? Or is that all you're good for, huh? Swinging fists in some dirty little gym?" Gasps rippled. How did Tiffany know? But Aisha didn't care. She stepped forward, each movement measured, deliberate. "You don't want me to fight back," Aisha said quietly, her voice carrying more weight than a scream. "Because if I do, you won't forget it." The crowd murmured. Phones were raised. Everyone knew something was about to happen. Tiffany scoffed, tossing her curls. What are you gonna do? Hit me? In front of everyone? Please. You'd be expelled before your fists even touched me. For a moment, silence. The tension snapped like a wire pulled too tight. Then, Tiffany pushed it too far. She shoved Aisha. It wasn't hard. It wasn't meant to hurt. It was meant to humiliate. But to Aisha, it was the bell. And the boxer inside her, ruthless, relentless, answered. Her fist moved before thought, a blur of precision and fury. Crack. Tiffany's tiara hit the floor before she did. The room exploded with screams, gasps, shouts. Tiffany crumpled, clutching her jaw, her eyes wide in disbelief. Blood trickled from her lip. Aisha stood over her, chest heaving, fists still clenched, eyes burning like wildfire. You wanted a fight, she said coldly. Now you've got one. Silence followed. Heavy. Shocking. The queen bee of Ridgewood lay defeated, humiliated, broken, not by words, but by a single unstoppable truth. Aisha wasn't someone to be mocked. She was a fighter. She was a storm. And the school would never forget it. Word spread like wildfire. By Monday, the video of Tiffany's downfall had gone viral across Ridgewood. Some cheered Aisha, calling her a hero who finally stood up to the mean girls. Others whispered fearfully, avoiding her in the halls. Tiffany. She came back weeks later with a wired jaw, quieter, her crown of cruelty stripped away. She avoided Aisha's gaze, as though looking at her might break her again. But for Aisha, it wasn't victory she felt. It wasn't pride. It was sorrow. She remembered her father's words, control. Always control. And she realized, in that moment of rage, she had lost it. She had become what they thought she was, a fighter first, a girl second. One afternoon, her boxing coach found her sitting in the gym, staring at her gloves. You did what you had to do, he said softly. No, Aisha replied. I did what I wanted to do. And that's the problem. He nodded, letting her silence stretch. Finally, he said, then make it mean something. Don't let that punch be just anger. Let it be a lesson, for them and for you. And she did. Aisha stayed at Ridgewood, not as the quiet, humiliated new girl, but as the one who dared to stand when no one else would. She joined the debate team, spoke out against bullying, taught younger girls how to defend themselves, not with fists, but with strength, with voice, with courage. The night at prom became a legend. But what people remembered most wasn't the punch. It was the change. Because in life, sometimes we're forced into rings we never wanted to enter. Sometimes people push us to fight, just to see if we'll break. But the true victory isn't in how hard you hit. It's in how you rise after. Moral, strength is not just in fists or fury, it's in restraint, in dignity, in rising above cruelty. The world will try to humiliate you, to break you, to push you into battles you never chose. But remember, your greatest power is deciding how you fight back.